I assume you're all here for the Bionicle lore panel. If you're not, get out now.
Yeah, this
Or
isn't
don't.
the Yu-Gi-Oh panel.
Yes, I appreciate this enthusiasm. Okay, so, just making sure, raise your hand if you don't know what a Bionicle is. Okay, so
Thank you for
Bionicle
coming.
was a toy line running from 2001 to 2011 by the Lego Group. It was made when Lego was like about to go bankrupt and stuff, and like their only successful line was Star Wars. So they're like, hey, what if we had a second Star Wars, but we didn't need to pay like $10 bajillion in order to make toys of it. So they went and sent out people to make like a deep, detailed lore and world building and storyline that could be incorporated into their toy line. And so we got Bionicle from 2001 to 2011. There's also the 2015 reboot. We're not going to talk about that because it's a little bit eh.
And it was deeply inspired. It was deeply inspired by Maori culture to the point where they were sued by the Maori people and had to change some names later on.
Yeah, it was a wild, wild ride. Okay, so chapter 1, the coming of the Toa. This is the 2001 storyline. Unity, duty, and destiny. These are the three virtues of the Great Spirit Matanui, who's basically the god of the Matoran, who are like the denizens of the Bionicle universe, right? So,
We've got Matanui, the island home of the Matoran, a sentient race led by 6 Turaga, each one an elder to the village. The island is also home to Rahi, a normally peaceful beast, except they were led to madness under Makuta's influence. The island is named after Matanui, the great spirit who had fallen to a great slumber after his brother, Makuta, betrayed him.
Makuta's kind of an ass.
Yeah,
There's
he's
6
a bad
tribes.
guy.
There's Takoro. They're in the Mengai volcano, which is the volcano in the very center, that brown area. They're the fire Matoran. There's Pokoro, who are in the desert to the north. They're the Matoran of stone. There's Onukoro, which is the Matoran of earth. Stone and earth are different. Don't get into it. They live in the caves. Yeah, well, yeah, except rocks are mud. Of course. Okay, this guy's the expert right here. Go ask him. Okay, Kokoro is in Mount Aihu, which is named after Turaga Nuju, the leader of Kokoro's great mentor and idol. That's the white area over there. Likoro is like in the trees above the swamp. They're the Matoran of air, not of plants. And then Gakoro is like off in the bay. They're on like plant houses and stuff. So the Matoran universe is inhabited by Matoran. They make up like the bulk of the universe with Matoran universe. They're the children of Matanui. There's the Turaga, who are the elders who lead the Matoran. And then there's the Toa, and they are the heroes who are sworn to protect the Matoran. But right now there are no Toa. That's really weird. The Matoran are being attacked by the Rahi, who are being corrupted by Makuta. That's not really good. That's no bueno. So,
The awakening of the Toa. Takua was a Toa Matoran who was sent on a quest by the Turaga Wanua to receive the 6 Toa stones and place them in the Kini Nui, an ancient temple at the center of Matanui, just west of the Mengai volcano. After Takua placed the 6 stones, he was given amnesia and launched to the shore of Tawahu. Unbeknownst to him, 6 Toa canisters were summoned to come to shore.
and so from the Toa canisters emerged the Toa Mata, the most iconic of the Bionicle Toa groups. Tahu, the Toa of Fire, is the leader of the Toa Mata. He wears the kanohi hau, which is a mask of shielding, allowing him to create force fields. Onua, the Toa of Earth, wears the Pakari, the mask of strength. He's like the quiet one, the second most quiet one, but just like quiet for being quiet, not like quiet because he's edgy. Pohatu is the Toa of Stone. He wears the Kakama, which is the mask of speed. He's kind of like the cheerful, friendly, like glue that keeps the group together because they get into a lot of fights.
We have Gali, the Toa of Water, with the Kakua mask, the mask of water breathing. She is wise and powerful, and also the girl Toa. We've got Lua.
Oh yeah, all the blue Matoran and Toa and Turaga are all girls. They're the only girls of the Matoran universe. I don't know why.
We also have Lua, the Toa of Air, with the Miru, the mask of levitation. He's lighthearted and witty. And Kopaka, the Toa of Ice, with the Akaku, the mask of X-ray vision. He's calculating and independent.
Kopaka's the edgelord.
Yeah, he doesn't like being bossed around by Tahu. Kind of funny the edgelord is not black.
What? Yeah, no, yeah. All right, so when the Toa washed upon the shores of their respective Koros, they emerged from the canisters with no memory of who they were, other than the fact that they were Toa. So, after meeting with the Turaga of each village to learn who they were and what their destiny was, they were set out on a quest to meet each other and then find the 6 great masks for each of them. There's like 36 masks total. They start with 1, so they have to find 5. This panel right here is from the very first issue of the Bionicle comic with the iconic line, "Now I am whole, and the darkness cannot stand before me." That's Kopaka right there. He's the edgelord.
The Toa searched all over the island for the masks of power, with galleys swimming deep below the water and Tahu searching through the Mangai volcano.
There's a lot of masks.
Yeah,
they go in pairs of two.
So many. Lua was controlled by a corrupted kanohi during their quest and had to be saved. This is the first of 3 times that Lua gets corrupted or mind controlled in some way. He's great, useful to the team. The Toa also formed Kaida to defeat Makuta's Monas crabs at Mangaya, which are combinations of 3 Toa. And the Toa found Makuta as a swirling ball of shadows and parts at Mangaya, Makuta's lair. It's like the opposite of Lego. It's all chaos and not put together. The Toa defeated Makuta's first form to find himself as a Matoran, the very being they were trying to protect. After defeating him, Makuta disappeared. "You cannot destroy me, for I am nothing."
This is from the Mad Nui online game, if any of you remember that. All right. And so we enter the 2002 era, which was the Bohrok swarms.
There are a lot of Matoran to keep track of here. We've got Jalar, captain of the holy team,
Captain
and
of the Guard.
Captain of the Guard,
He's the
sorry,
captain
yes.
of the Takoro Guard.
And then Takua, the chronicler, Holly, Newcomers' assistant, Maku, part of the chronicler's company, and will later become a chronicler.
No, Holly becomes a chronicler.
Doesn't he become after her?
No.
Oh, really?
Kopeke's next.
Oh. Well, Huki, the hermit and carver, Akumu, who works with Makuta, Matoro, Nuju's translator, Kopeke, the famous ice sculptor, Kongu, captain of the Gakko force, and Nuparu, the engineer.
You may be asking, why does Nuju need a translator? And the answer is that he's a crotchety old man who only speaks in bird. All right. I think for the sake of time, we're not going to be playing, I think, a lot of the videos, which is really disappointing because they're great. Look them up on your own.
That was the Bohrok ad.
Yeah, but basically that's the ad for the Bohrok, which the Bohrok are a mindless hive mind swarm of beings that are set out to destroy all of the island of Matanui. The Bohrok are controlled by the Krana, each of which gives them a different power. There's like 1 million of them. I don't know all of them because there's who cares? And if the Bohrok lose their Krana, they become lifeless husks and have to be given a new Krana by the Bohrok Va, which are those small ones on the left. The Bohrok were first discovered by Takua after the Toa defeat Makuta in Mangaya. Takua finds the Bohrok nests and finds the Bohroks right as they wake up, and then he gets teleported out by some MacGuffin that he gets handed during the Mad Nui online game. I forget what it was. Yeah, it was the plot device. Yes. The first time that most of the Matoran encountered the Bohrok, however, was during the Tanak siege of Pokoro, where the Matoran tried as they might to defeat the Bohrok, were unable to break their incredibly strong hides. The Bohrok simply ignored the Matoran, choosing to go after the Matoran's villages and settlements instead, destroying the village.
During the attack on Onukora, some Galak lose Krana in Onukora, causing Nupara to realize that the Bohrok are empty husks without their Krana, which is how they will later defeat them. Nupara also built powerful Exotoa out of the Galak husks, creating the Bohrok, the Boxor robots. During the attack on Likora, Turaga Matau and several of the Matoran were defeated and brainwashed by the Krana until they were saved. Takua and others defending against the Parak in Gakoro in their resistance team held their last stand.
All right, so in order to defeat the Bohrok, the Toa Mata had to collect all of the different Bohrok Krana, just because that's what they do. They just go on quests and collect 1 million things. This is 2001 through 2003. That's all of it. It's just them collecting 1 million masks and Krana. While they were collecting the Krana, Lua got controlled by a Krana. Guess what? Who would have thought? And while he's controlled by the Krana, he has a vision that shows the entirety of Matanui being destroyed by the Bohrok, and realizes the Toa need to act fast so there would be no Matanui to save. When the Toa collect the Krana, they go deep within the Bohrok's nest and discover the Barite Queens, the leader of the Bohrok. Before discovering the Barite Queens, however, Tahu discovers powerful bits of exo-armor called the Exo-Toa. The Toa go in the exo-armor in order to fight the Barite Queens, but quickly figure out that the armor actually stunts their elemental powers, and they need those powers in order to defeat the Barite Queens. So then they leave the Exo-Toa, and then they beat the Barite Queens with their elemental powers. However, when they fight the Barite Queens are kind of weird. They start calling the Bohrok the Toa's brothers, and at the end of it, they say that fools, you do not know what you have unleashed. We'll get to that second part, like literally next year. The brothers part doesn't get answered until 2008.
So after the Toa defeat the Bohrok queens, they fall into a vat of energized protodermis, transforming the destined Toa to more powerful versions of themselves, the Toa Nuva, with increased elemental powers and the ability to share their enhanced max powers with other Toa Nuva nearby.
So after becoming Toa Nuva, the Toa just kind of like show off their powers and just like fight each other for some reason, and then they just split up. Which is like exactly what Gali says, please don't do. So after the war, the Bohrok were reprogrammed to repair the damage that they had caused on the Koros, which, you know, because the Bohrok were empty husks, Naparu was able to figure that out pretty easily. And also when the Toa became Toa Nuva, their Nuva symbols started showing up all around the island, which are like pretty cool. They're not relevant after this year, but they look cool, don't they? So right before the Toa split up, Turaga Vakama, the Turaga of Takoro, gives Toa Tahu the Mask of Time, the Kanohi Vahi, which is a legendary Kanohi said to be able to control time, but it's also incredibly difficult to wield.
It also does not allow for time travel.
Yeah,
No
it allows you to slow down or speed up time. Yeah, time dilation, yes. So yeah, they split up again. Gali says, don't split up. They're like, screw you. They split up, and guess what? The Bohrok Cal emerged. They're like the Bohrok, but they're like actually sentient and like can think things and feel things. The Bohrok Cal have one task, and that's to free the Bohrok Queens in the event that the Bohrok Queens are stopped in order to continue the Bohrok swarm. So the Bohrok Cal figure out pretty quickly they need the Nuva symbols in order to do that. And look what just showed up on the island. So the Bohrok Cal go, they collect all the Nuva symbols, preventing the Toa from being able to use their elemental powers. And then the Toa Nuva have to go and collect all the Kanohi Nuva now. Look, it's a whole thing again. So they do that. They fight the Bohrok Cal. They like beat them a few times, but then the Bohrok Cal just control the Bohrok and get them to launch their Krana inside of them, giving them new brains and allowing them to just continue. And by the time that they beat Tana Cal, they learned that the Bohrok Cal had already found the Bohrok Queens and were looking to unleash them.
The Toa found the Bohrok Cal assembling the Nuva Cube, which would free the Bohrok Queens. Trying to fight them, the Toa were powerless and unable to break through the silver Krana, protecting the Bohrok from the physical attacks. At a loss, Tahu used the Vahi in order to stop time, giving the Toa more time to think. Still unable to break the Cal's grip, Gali came up with the idea of using their connections to the symbols to overload the Cal with power, causing them to destroy themselves. Victorious, the Toa retrieved their symbols. Afterwards, the Turaga rebuilt the Matoran in celebration of their help against the Rahi and Bohrok. This caused the visual change from the Mictoran to the Koli playing Matoran toys.
All right, and now we get to movie one, The Mask of Light. So, after the defeat of the Bohrok Cal, the first three were all good. Then we get, it wasn't a fourth movie, it never happened. So after they defeat the Bohrok Cal, a period of peace followed on Mata Nui, during which the sport of Koli was developed from a fighting technique used against the Bohrok. I think it was specifically Hugi that developed it. The Turaga began to wonder if they should continue to hide some of their secrets from the Toa Nuva and decide they would share them. But first, they got some Koli to play. So, the two main characters, Takua, the chronicler.
Takua.
And then Jalar, captain of the guard. Takua and Jalar are the Takoro team that are trying to, play Koli. But Takua is being Takua. He goes off in a cave and he finds the Mask of Light right before they're supposed to play Koli. Jalar calls him, like, I forget, lava. He says, you could have been lava bones. And Takua's like, could have been, but I'm not. I remember random quotes from this movie. So he finds the Mask of Light, but then he's like, oh, I gotta go play sports first. So he puts it in his bag and then they go play sports. And then after they play sports, and Takua makes a fool of himself, the Mask of Light falls out of Takua's backpack and it shines on him. And then Takua's like, I don't want this to shine on me, so he points it at Jalar. And then they go hand it to Nakama, who's the Turaga who has the Mask of Translation. And she reads the back of the mask and is like, hey, look, this is whoever this shines on is the Herald of the Seventh Toa. And then Takua's like, look, it was Jalar. Look, I pointed at him, so it must be him. So everyone thinks Jalar's the Herald. Jalar's like, okay, fine, Takua, you're coming with me because you're the chronicler. So Takua's like, fine, I'll come with you. And then they have to go find the Seventh Toa. So they go on a quest and they like make friends with all the Toa Nuva and like do all these things. Takua gets blackmailed by Makuta at one point, and then realizes that the power of friendship is too important. And he goes back and finds Jalar. And they arrive at Kininui. Meanwhile, Makuta sends his brothers, the Rakshi, to attack Takua and take the Mask of Light from him. However, the Rakshi don't exactly know where he is. They just go to the last place they found him, Takoro. And he's not at Takoro. So the Rashi destroy Takoro and send it down into the very lava which sustained it, in the words of Toatahu. And then the Rashi go after the two Matoran. They destroy Onukoro too at like some point. And then they go find them at Kini Nui, and then they're like, oh no, the Rashi are gonna kill us. But then the Toa learn how to be a team again. And also like Tahu turns evil for a little bit, and then he turns good again. Doesn't really matter. But the point is, the Toa learn the power of friendship, and they go and fight, and they defeat the Rakshi. But oh no, one of the Rakshi they couldn't get, and it goes and attacks Takua. So Jalar's like, I'll save you, my friend. And Jalar gets killed. And then Takua's like, oh no. And then then Takua realizes, wait, the seventh Toa was inside of us all along, and by that he means me. And then he puts on the mask and becomes the seventh Toa, Takanuva, the Toa of light. And then he destroys the Rakshi because he's just ridiculously powerful. And then he goes into Mangaya with his dead friend's face and fights Makuta using Koli. And also Holly, the new chronicler, convinces like all of the Toa and Matoran and Turaga to go down and watch this happen. So he defeats Makuta. In the process, they both fall into a vat of energized protodermis. This fuses them into Takuta Nuva. That's a thing that happened. Takuta Nuva happens. He lifts open the giant door leading to the other side of Mangaya. And the Toa and Matoran and Turaga all go through it. And then the door crushes Takuta Nuva, but not before Takuta Nuva brings back Jalar to life. I don't remember how. It's just, you have to accept that this happens. Yeah, plot. Okay, and then they're like, oh no, now Takanuva's dead. And then the power of friendship just brings Takanuva back, and he's just back. He doesn't die. But the point is, when they get through the other side, they see a sea made out of silver protodermis, liquid protodermis. And on the other side, they see an island. And it's at this point that Turaga Vakama reveals that Matanui was not the original home of the Matoran. In fact, it was Metronui, the city literally directly underneath Matanui, like in a giant cave, underneath. And he also reveals they're not the first Toa. The Turaga were the whole time. They just didn't tell them. I don't really know why. Well, yeah. It just keeps going. It just keeps going. But this is as far back as we're probably going to get. Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, and also Holly becomes a new chronicler because Takua is now a Toa, and then he died, so he definitely can't be the chronicler. But now he's back, but he's Takanuva, so he can't be the chronicler. He's a Toa. We don't have time for videos, sadly. That's the Rakshi Rock. I don't know if anybody remembers that. It was wild. Okay, so if you noticed on the thing, there was trivia. We are going to do trivia. There's not a lot of it. There's 5 questions. This is question 1. What was the original name for the Bionicle line before they called it Bionicle?
How are they going to answer?
Raise your hand if you have the answer. Okay, you raise first. No. Close, though. No. You were very close. Very, very close, but we're almost there. Okay. So I guess you were the closest, since no one else is raising their hand. We'll go with you. You're the winner. It was Boneheads of Voodoo Island, or just the Do Heads for a while. Let's all be glad that they renamed. All right, so you over there, winner. Who won? It was you, right? You, yes. Hi, come up here. Hi, pick one of these masks. And an endpoint. All right, the mirror. That's a good one. Yes, okay. So, now we're getting to 2004, which was Metronui.
Unlike Matanui, an island of lush jungle and mysterious ruins, Metronui was once a bustling metropolis located directly underneath the island of Matanui and surrounded by a sea of liquid protodermis. The Matoran of Metronui were manufacturers working in furnaces and transport chutes. Underneath runs a system called the Archives, which stores artifacts and dangerous Rahi. Unlike Matanui, Metronui had one Turaga Doom, and only one remaining guardian, Toa Likan. Metronui was protected by a police force of mechanized creatures called the Vaki. They were created by New Paru, and a dangerous threat. Yeah, he did. A dangerous series of vines known as the Morbuzak was spreading throughout the city, collapsing chutes and damaging Matoran. The king root of the Morbuzak lay in the Great Furnace in Ta Metru. The people of Ta Metru include
Metronui.
Sorry,
Characters
Metronui.
in Metronui include the Vaki. We talked about them. They're the law enforcement guys. They're like evil RoboCop. Lacan is the last remaining Toa. He's a Toa of fire. After the rest of his 11 Toa Mangai all either died or betrayed him. It was first by Toa Tuyet who betrayed him, and then later on Toa Nadiki also betrayed him. Nidiki's especially an asshole. I mean, they're both assholes, but Nidiki especially. So Turaga Doom is the Turaga of Metro Nui, the sole Turaga. He was once an honorable Toa, but recently became really weird and started obsessing over the Mask of Time, which at the time has not been made yet. And there's, of course, the Morbazak, which is Angry Plant. There's also the Dark Hunters. The Dark Hunters aren't like on Metro Nui, they're on the island of, I think, Zaya, right? They're a group of bounty hunters led under the leadership of the Shadowed One, who's a mysterious and shadowy figure who nobody knows his name. And Greg Farshey is never going to tell us, because he forgot. That's actually what he said. There's a lot of Dark Hunters. There's Voparok. He can like speed up time with people who are close to him. There's Eliminator. He kills rogue Dark Hunters. There's Ancient. He co-founded the Dark Hunters with the Shadowed One and also knows the Shadowed One's real name. There's also Kreka and Nidiki. They're like two partners. Kreka's the stupid one who holds Nidiki in line, because Nidiki was originally a Toa, if you remember, who betrayed them. Then the Shadowed One had Nidiki mutated, and then also had him partnered up with Kreka, because Kreka's an idiot, and he's like, there's no way he can betray me if he's teamed up with this guy.
Then mind control him.
Yes. So, with Turaga Doom acting strangely, and mysterious things happening underfoot on the city of Metro Nui, Toa Lacan realized that he cannot no longer defend the city alone. So he goes to the Great Temple, like underneath Turaga Doom's nose, and he steals the 6 Toa stones and imbues part of his power in each of them. Then he travels across the 6 Metrus and gets 6 Matoran and gives them the Toa stones and tells them, go to the Great Temple, follow this map that I gave you. Afterward, like when he gives Vakama the last of the 6 Matoran that he gives the Toa stone, his Toa stone, he gets ambushed by Nidiki, his former partner, and also Kreka, who's a Dark Hunter. And Turaga Lacan saves Vakama and then just kind of disappears, and nobody knows what happens to him. Vakama kind of blames himself and thinks that Lacan is dead. Vakama also was sent by Turaga Doom to make the Mask of Time, which he can't really do because he doesn't have the right discs. And he also feels bad about that. Vakama's really like self-loathing. So the Matoran meet in the Great Temple, and they become the Toa Metru, using these 6 Toa stones. The Toa Metru are meant to work behind Turaga Doom's back in order to save the city and uncover the mysterious conspiracy. Vakama wears Kanohi Huna, which is the Mask of Concealment. He's also the leader of the team and has visions of the future. I don't know why he's the leader, because he's really like self-doubting. He's a bad leader. He figures it out later on. Nokama wears the Mask of Translation. She's the deputy. Winua wears the Mask of Night Vision. Matau wears the Mask of Illusions. Nuju wears the Mask of Telekinesis. And Onua wears the Mask of Mind Control. He's different from Onua, who is the Toa Mata. They're different characters. It's worth noting, unlike the Toa Mata, these guys take a while to figure out their mask powers. And Vakama especially takes a very long time, because he's very self-loathing. Yeah, he's really depressed about it.
The first quest the Toa Metru go on is to defeat the Morbuzak Vine. And in a vision, now Toa Vakama sees 6 Matoran who know the location of the great discs they would use to defeat the Vine. After collecting the Matoran, the Toa realizes that Akmu is a traitor. However, the Toa need to win his favor first to find the discs. After collecting the discs, the Toa use the great discs to kill the King Root, losing their elemental powers in the process, while the 6 Matoran combine into Matoran Nui to help drive the vines away.
That's a thing they can do.
Yeah, they just do it.
just accept it.
Afterwards, the Toa return to the Colosseum, hoping to receive as heroes, despite acting against the Turaga's orders. Turaga Doom tells the Toa that they must prove themselves with deeds, not gifts, and tells the Matoran to activate the Colosseum.
This is really weird, because they just did a whole bunch of deeds to find the discs.
Yeah, it's just...
And also killed the Morbazak.
Yeah. After using the Colosseum to humiliate the Toa Metru, Doom sends the Vaki enforcers to imprison the Toa and reveals that he has a connection to Makuta. Vakama, Nokama, and Matau escape and travel through the chutes to find themselves inside a Rahi transport crawler filled with empty pods. Vakama touches one of these pods and sees a vision which they are filled with Matoran. As the 3 renegade Toa rush to rescue their teammates, Onua, Nuju, and Wenua are thrown into a prison where they meet the mysterious Turaga, who teaches them how to use their mask powers. Vakama, Nokama, and Matau rescue the Toa, where the Turaga reveals himself to be Likon, who gave away his powers to create the new Toa. The Toa open a capsule to find a comatose Turaga Doom, revealing the person pretending to be Doom is an imposter.
Bum, bum, bum. It's Makuta. It was him the whole time. Who would have thought? He's like tiny now. So after he rips off his mask, he stops being tiny, becomes huge again. Makuta reveals that they're already too late. The Matoran are already in the pods. They're asleep. And now he's going to put his brother, the Great Spirit Matanui, to sleep. So he launches a big shadow wave, which finishes the job, I guess. And then the 2 suns start closing. on Metro Nui. That's kind of weird, isn't it? Suns don't close. I wonder why. Anyway, the Toa find the Matoran, already comatose, and realize they don't have time to save the Matoran right now because Makuta's still like attacking them and stuff. So they try to save 6 of the Matoran and go out of the, I forget what it's called, the Great Passage or something. They try to travel through the Silver Sea and escape Metro Nui is the point. But in the process, they're attacked by the 2 Dark Hunters. Onua uses his mask of mind control in order to mind control the Dark Hunters into fighting each other, and then is running and fighting Makuta, I think is what happens. The video is kind of, they just kind of like fall into him. Anyway, Makuta just kind of like, it's like, you guys are useless, and then he absorbs them into his body, killing both of them. He also kills his pet bird, because he's Makuta, he's evil. In the meantime, Vakama finished the Mask of Time using the 6 great discs. He finally got the right materials. However, Makuta stopped the cargo ship, forcing Vakama to be levitated up using Nuju's mask of telekinesis, not levitation, it's different. And he launches him up to fight Makuta. Vakama tries to fight Makuta with the Mask of Time, but Vakama does not know how to use the Mask of Time very well. And Makuta almost kills him, but then Turago Lakan jumps in the way, sacrificing himself. Turago Lakan dies and hands Vakama his mask right before he dies. Vakama is like, oh no, my hero is dead, and then learns that his mask power is invisibility all along. He turns invisible. He uses his disc launcher. He launches the Mask of Time, which Makuta had stolen from him, out of Makuta's hands, launching it deep into the sea of the Silver Sea. And then Vakama turns invisible, and he like bumbles around and tricks Makuta for a while until Makuta like hits himself with a massive rock, and then hits him against a wall. Then the Toa come back, and using the power of unity, they use their powers to create a Toa seal, trapping Makuta for forever. Except Makuta's the villain in 2001, so how did that happen? We're about to find out. But first, they go to Matanui. They travel through the tunnels. They get to Matanui, the upper island, the island on the surface. There's no island above Matanui. It's just Metro Nui, Matanui. But they only brought 6 pods, and they lost one of them in the process. So when they go on Matanui, they scout out the island. They make some like random, they like make some Toa Suvas in like areas that they want to set up villages. And they also like hide their own Toa stones before returning to Metro Nui to rescue the rest of the Matoran.
After Onua discovers a tunnel through Mangaya that could return to Metro Nui, the Toa Metru explore the cavern to find mutated Rahi fleeing away from the city. After Nokama is injured in a fight with a Rahi, the Toa meet Karzani, a mysterious plant that offers to cure Nokama in exchange for energized protodermis. The being revealed it was created by Makuta as a prototype to the Morbuzak and claimed it would use the power to protodermis to defeat him. Nuju figured out he was lying and merely using it to prolong its expiration date set in by Makuta. The being admitted to its plan, took the protodermis, and was promptly killed, using its last words to beg the Toa to kill its creator. Continuing on their journey, the Toa encountered dormant Bohrok, destroyed Vaki, and a terrifying room used by Makuta to make masks, before reaching the Silver Sea, where they made a new ship, the Likan II, and returned home.
Oh, but home was not home. You see, spiders were at their home, and those spiders, they're evil spiders. And they cover the entire home. So the Toa find their city in ruins, and the city towers are covered in the web of beings called Vizorak. Spiders sent by a mysterious, nefarious being. I wonder who it could be. But where did they come from, and what were their purpose? And equal as important, where are the Matoran? So, they go to Metro Nui, the Vizorak find them, the Vizorak capture them, they trap them in cocoons, then they get mutated into Toa Hordika, which are like beast versions of the Toa. Like animal versions. Then the Hordika are saved by the Rahaga, who are also like beast boys. They also reveal that they used to be Toa, they were also mutated. Yeah, they have helicopter powers and flashlights on their heads, that's really cool. Yeah, so then the Rahaga find them, they tell them, you're not Toa anymore, you're Hordika, and you're going to have to learn to control your animal instincts, or else you're going to just turn to your feral natures. So,
long ago, the Rahaga runs a team of Toa known as the Toa Haga, who protected Makuta before he turned against his brother. After Makuta betrayed Matanui, the Haga were mutated into the Rahaga by the leader of the Vizorak swarms. During this time, the Rahaga hid the Mask of Light from Makuta and his brotherhood. The Toa Hordika rediscovered the mask and unlocked the Rahaga's lock. The Toa took the mask with the intention of hiding it on Matanui, where it would one day be discovered by Takua.
It's that guy, Takanuva. You remember him, he just happened. Anyway, so, as Vakama's animal instincts begin to consume him, he meets the Vizorak Horde's second in command, Rudaka, who has some questionable designs on the chest for a Bionicle, who wanted to save and free Makuta from his Toa seal. So Rudaka convinces Vakama to betray the Hordika and join her and Sidorak, who's the incompetent leader of the Visorak. Vakama kidnaps Rahaga to prove his loyalty to Sidorak. Sidorak's like, okay, you can join us. You can be the leader of the Visorak horde while I sit around doing nothing. Out of options, the Toa and the one remaining Rahaga Norak, the red one, who would have thought the red one is important again, journeys to find the mythical being Kitangu, who's the yellow guy with one eye, to transform the Hordika back to their original forms. Kitangu, however, didn't do this, but he agreed to help them and the Rahaga save the Rahaga and stop Vakama and end the Visorak horde. So they all go to the Colosseum, which is where the Visorak make their home base. They attack the Visorak stronghold while Matau goes on ahead to try to convince Vakama that he's still a hero, he's still a Toa, remember the Matoran. And then it works, and then Vakama's a good guy again, but he pretends to still be a bad guy to trade for Rudaka. And then he shoots Rudaka in the chest. But Rudaka doesn't realize, or Vakama doesn't realize, oh wait, Rudaka's got a part of Makuta's Toa seal inside of her chest. So he accidentally breaks Makuta free. Oh, also, Kitangu bashes Sidorak's head in. Sidorak is useless. He really doesn't do much. So the group, Vakama convinces Kitangu to actually transform them back because he's like, we've mastered our animal instincts, but we still need to be Toa because this is our destiny. That's one of the 3 virtues. So they get united, they complete their duty, which is to save the Matoran. They put them all on airships and then fly them up to Matanui, because once again, Matanui is above Metru Nui. And then the Rahaga Kitangu, as well as a awakened Turaga Doom, work to fix Metru Nui, while the Matoran and the Toa live on Matanui, which is much, much safer than this completely destroyed city where there's just Rahi from the archives running everywhere. But one more thing, cool lore. So,
all right, Vakama goes alone to retrieve the kanohi Vahi from the sea. After repairing and retrieving it from the sea, the Dark Hunter Voprok steals the mask and knocks Vakama back into the sea. At the same time, the Shadowed One is plotting revenge against the Toa, thinking that they killed Nadiki and Kreka, except it was the Shadowed One. I mean, not Makuta, not the Shadowed One. Whoops. Vakama awakens to find himself as a Matoran, and the 6 Matoran who knew the dislocations were the Toa, and the Mors Buzak was still alive. The Matoran Vakama goes to Makuta's lair, and in a vision, Krakua, a Toa of Sonics, tells Vakama a tale of 6 Toa who would go into the darkest place that Krakua could imagine. However, the still-alive Turaga Likan interrupts Vakama's vision, revealing to Vakama that this was Makuta's illusion and not real.
Vakama figures it out when he sees Lacan because he's like, oh wait, I remember this. This is really important. My mentor definitely died. That was not a dream. So then he realizes it. And then he tells Makuta, I don't have the Vahi, I don't know why you're tormenting me. So Makuta and Vakama go together to find Voprok, who should have the Vahi. But Voprok doesn't have the Vahi either. So then they go to find the Shattered One to figure out where is the Vahi. But the Shattered One defeats them and kicks their ass. So Vakama tells the Shattered One, wait, don't kill me. Makuta killed your hunters. You have no problem with me. And then Vakama just blasts out with the Vahi, stealing it from both of them. Meanwhile, Makuta throws the Shattered One into Voprok, aging the Shattered One by 1,000 years and making the Shattered One really, really hate Makuta. So Vakama ends up running and finds himself at the Karzani plant, who's still alive, and reveals that the Order of Matanui placed, Matanui placed the fake Toa in Makuta's mind in order to protect the real Toa. However, he also reveals that there's an Order of Matanui which fights the Brotherhood of Makuta and revived him. Makuta then kills Karzani for good. I don't really know why they brought him back. Vakama saves himself by threatening to destroy the Vahi and break all of time. So he gets from Makuta a year of ceasefire for them to awaken and let the Matoran grow and build their villages and have time to prepare and defend themselves, as well as giving Vakama ownership of the Vahi. During this encounter, Makuta reads Vakama's mind and learns that they lost one of the Matoran pods. So Makuta goes out, finds the pod, brainwashes Akmu, and that's why Akmu's evil now.
All right, a destiny completed. Vakama uses his power as a Toa to complete his destiny and awaken a 6th of the Matoran pods, turning him into a Turaga. The other 5 Toa follow suit, awakening all the other Matoran pods on Matanui. Jalar's mask was broken in the transit to Matanui, pointed out by Takua, and Jalar was slowly leaking energy. However, Vakama replaces it with Likan's mask, which was given to him at the moment of Likan's death.
Matoran into Toa, Toa into Turaga, and Turaga into Matoran. And so began the Dark Times, which were the times when the Rahi were attacking the Matoran before the Toa showed up. Now we're going all the way back to present time, okay? So this is after the Toa beat Makuta, like, for good, and Takanuva, and everything happens, and they find Metro Nui, and everyone goes back to Metro Nui. However, when they're on Metro Nui, the Toa find out that Mata Nui is actually dying while he's in his slumber, and that finding the kanohi Ignika, the mask of life, was the only way of bringing him back. So Takanuva stayed on Metro Nui, while the other Toa entered some new Toa canisters and floated to the island of Voya Nui, also known as the Daggers of Death. It's pretty edgy.
Meanwhile, 6 Skakti Dark Hunters went rogue in a group they called the Paraka after hearing rumors of Makuta's death.
They also rap. So, the Paraka first go to Mata Nui, where they find Makuta's body and Mangaya, his old lair. And while Radak tries to claim the Mask of Shadows, the mask just kind of like shadows blasts him until he throws it into the sea. So it's just gone for a while. Meanwhile, Hakan discovered Makuta's Spear of Fusion, which he immediately uses on one of his teammates, Vizok, which separates him into 2 beings, which makes Vizok go insane. And also Vizon is insane. They're both insane. All the Paraka are insane. Makuta, who is now a cloud of antidermis, telepathically transmits the idea to find the kanohi Ignika to the 6 Paraka, while Vizon goes out on his own to find the Ignika. We're not going to watch videos, once again. We don't have time. It's very sad. So, the Paraka, we have Hakan. He's got, like, heat vision and mental blast. He also betrays the location of the Paraka to the Shattered One in order to win favor. The Paraka don't really work as a team. They're like a team with, like, heavy quotes. Vizok has, like, impact vision. He also, like, went insane after he got separated. He's pretty angry about that. I don't blame him. Radak is just a complete dick. He's really strong and also really smart, but he doesn't like using his brains because he just likes breaking things for fun. Avak can make, like, impenetrable prisons. That's pretty neat. Thok is, like, the ice guy. He makes deals with all of the different Paraka in the event that they find the Mask of Life. That way, no matter what, he ends up on top. And then Zaktan's the leader of them. He's made out of a cloud of a swarm of prototypes, and like literally is like unstable at all points. When you look at him, it looks like he's like vibrating just like constantly. And also whenever he speaks, it sounds like several people are speaking at once because he's barely able to control his body. He's also the leader of the Paraka, ? He's really just the scariest of them, which is why they all fall in line. So yeah, Voya Nui, the center of Voya Nui, on that bay, there used to be stuff there, but then it sank into the ocean. That also killed Voya Nui's Turaga. So now Voya Nui has no Turaga and no Toa. That really sucks. Voya Nui also has the green belt, where they can't ever deforest it. There's always life there. I wonder why. The Matoran of Voya Nui were actually rejects built on an island called Karzani, which is why they all look kind of like sus. They were then sent to Voya Nui by Karzani in order to hide his mistakes, because he doesn't want his island to be taken away from him. When the Paraka arrive on Voya Nui, they pretend to be Toa because they arrived in the Toamata's Toa canisters. So the Matoran, not knowing what Toa look or act like, are like, sure, yeah. And then the Paraka just enslave all of them, except for like 6 of them. They're the resistance. They're pretty neat. They also try to get the Matoran to clear the Lake of Lava because that's where they believe the Kanohi Ignika, the Mask of Life, is, because like it's the edgiest place. So they enslaved them using Xammer spheres, by the way. Those are like those little, if you remember the ball launchers. That was pretty neat.
Expecting a quick mission, the Toa Nuva were surprised by the appearance of the Paraka and were quickly defeated, stripped of their masks and sent to be dropped into a volcano. While the Toa Nuva escaped at the last minute, the Matoran resistance force was in danger from the Paraka and falsely believed the Toa to be more Paraka. Meanwhile, on Metro Nui, Newcomer revealed to Jalar where the Toa had disappeared to, and expressing concern that they hadn't returned. Jalar made a team of 5 other Matoran, Hali, Kongu, Nuparuhuki, and Matoro, as well as the Toa of Light Takanuva.
Yeah, that blue Matoran Dalu actually makes Gali go insane when they fight, like using her weapon. Like, they're pretty wild, Matoran.
After escaping, the Toa find the Matoran resistance force in danger, but the Matoran believe the Toa to be more Paraka. The mysterious Axon saves Balta from the Paraka and told them that the Toa told them to tell the resistance the Toa were not a threat, but not before Gali was driven insane by Dalu.
Balta's the red Matoran over there. Axon's the guy with the axe.
Shocking.
All right.
If the Paraka are not stopped, if they find the Mask of Life they seek, Madanui shall die.
That's what Axon tells Balta after he saves him. These are from Bionicle Heroes, if you're wondering why Zaktan looks like from the meme when you walk in. So Brutaka talks with Zaktan and then absorbs Zaktan's Zamer sphere, because of course Zaktan tries to brainwash Brutaka. And then Brutaka leaves, and then Hakan stalks him for a while. Brutaka uses his Kanohi Olmec to teleports behind you on Hakon, and then strike him a deal, which is Brutaka would kill Zaktan in exchange for more Zamer spheres. Because Brutaka was like, you shot me with a Zamer sphere and it made me stronger, I want more of this. It's like steroids. So, meanwhile, on the island of Metronui, 6 Matoron, Jalar, Kongu, Holly, Huki, Kongu, and Matoro. I think I listed one of those twice, but I don't know who I missed. Naparu is who I missed. Yes. Okay. They go on a quest to go find the Toa Nuva who have not returned back, which, like, it should have been like an easy, like, go and come back mission. So they're all like, what's going on? So the Matoran go and they go through these underground caves, but they find this mysterious one-way door that when they go through it, Takanuva can't. So Takanuva has to go back. The Matoran can't go back. And then they continue traveling and find a frightened Matoran, and then are escorted by Manus crabs through a canyon filled with twisted and dejected Matoran, where like waterfalls are made out of dust and like rocks scream and stuff. It's like Nightmare Land, basically. It's like hell, but worse. So they arrive at a temple made out of iron and meet Karzani, who was the guy I was talking about earlier, the guy who made all those crazy reject Matoran on Voyanui. Yeah. Bionicle does a lot of metal. They almost did something with, what's his name? The like guy who made those like really wild movies. Rob Zombie. They almost did like an album with Rob Zombie, but then it fell through at the last minute. Really sad. Anyway, so Karzani takes their masks. Jalar is like, don't take my mask. This mask is like Toa Lacan's. That's really cool. And the Karzani's like, I don't care. You're giving me that mask. So he makes Jalar go insane using his Kanohi Olisi, which allows him to give people visions and nightmares. So they all give up their masks. Karzani gives them these weird artificial, these weird living masks. They're like alive. It's very strange. So Karzani then takes Holly, who is the chronicler, to learn about what's happening in the outside world. And tells Holly about his brother Artaka, who's like him but actually does his job correctly. Then Holly tells Karzani about like how Manui is asleep and dying and how there's like all these Toa and stuff. And then Karzani's like, I don't believe you. So then the Toa like rush out. They escape on 6 other Toa canisters. The canisters were actually made by the creator of the Toa canisters. He was on the island. That's pretty neat. Karzani, however, before this happens, finds the Matoran, says, you're lying to me, you're tricking me, I don't know why. He tries, then Matoro goads Karzani into giving Matoro's worst nightmare. Karzani does, then Karzani's like, oh wait, his worst nightmare is Matanui dying and then being unable to save Matanui. And he's like, oh wait, they were telling the truth the whole time. So, while Karzani realizes this, Matoran rush out in the canisters and escape to Voyanui. Meanwhile, Karzani realizes, oh wait, there's a power vacuum now. Meanwhile, back on Voyanui.
All right, so there is a rematch with the Paraka. Avak and Thok discovered the green belt was the real location of the Ignitka. Avak returned to the stronghold and trapped Zaktan in a prison, but Hakon discovered attacked Avak as Brutaka prepared to destroy all 6 of the Paraka. As they fought, the Toa Nuva and the Matoran resistance broke into the stronghold and surprised Redak before reclaiming their masks and weapons. Redak found the Paraka and threw the treacherous Hakon at Avak, freeing Zaktan, and the Toa and Matoran broke into the room.
We're going to start going a little bit faster now because we have like 20 minutes. So Brutaka defeats the Toa. He actually like makes an alliance with the Paraka and then knocks out all 12 of like the Toa and all of the Matoran like in one hit, like all 12 of the characters because Brutaka's OP. Dalu escapes, however. Axon. Oh wait, no, this is okay. That's why that's out of order. I was like, this is wrong. Okay, so. But before Axon could defeat the Paraka, Brutaka also strikes Axon. Meanwhile, Hakan develops a plan to out Zaktan now by stealing Brutaka's power using a Zamer sphere. However, out in the sea, those 6 Matoran on Nightmare Island, they were in canisters. And those Matoran, while they were in canisters, were struck by lightning due to a contingency plan in an object called the Red Star that we're not going to get into. But they emerged from the canisters on Voyanui as 6 newly created Toa, naming themselves the Toa Ignitka after the mass that they seek. The Paraka see these new Toa spirit storms form in the sky and began to worry. Unlike the other previous Toa, these Toa are really, really good at working together because they've been working together since 2001. They figure out their mass powers within, like, all of them figured out within, like, 30 minutes of becoming Toa. Like, they're just, like, on point. They're basically a SWAT team. Their weapons are also energized by the lightning, and they also, like, emerge to, like, all-American rejects and stuff. So Jalar's got the Mask of Fate. Huki's got the Mask of Accuracy. Holly's got the Mask of Detection. Naparu's got the Mask of Flight. Konga's got the Mask of Telepathy, which he can't turn off and slowly makes him go crazy. And Mitoro's got the Mask of Spirit, which makes him turn into, like, I think it's Dead Man from, what's it, the Canadian DC superhero team. And basically, it lets him remove his spirit from his body. So the Toa and Nika arrive. They're ambushed by Vizok, but the Paraka finds out they're immune to the anti-dermis Zamer spheres. And the Toa capture Vizok, who quickly escapes. The Toa and the Matoran met, and the Matoran armed the Toa with Zamer launchers before they split into 3 groups. Jalar, Holly, and 2 of the Matoran free many of the enslaved Matoran from the antidermis. Huki and Mitoro and 2 more of the Matoran find a badly beaten Axon who tells them to stop Brutaka at all costs. Kongu, Naparu, and then the other 2 search the Paraka stronghold, looking for the Toa Nuva. So, all 6 Toa and Matoran meet at the stronghold, where they fight the Paraka and Brutaka. Hakan uses his Zamer sphere on Brutaka to steal his power, but Thok rigged the Zamer sphere to give him half Brutaka's power. Now Thok and Hakan are broken as hell. Hakan and Thok beat the imprisoned Toa and everybody, and the rest of the Paraka and Toa, forcing Brutaka to tell them the location of the Ignika, and then they depart for the 777 stairs.
Nuparu, who had flown away using his mask power along with Zaktan during the fight, returned to the stronghold and freed the Toa. Axon warned Jalar of the dangers lurking in the quest ahead, and gave him a glowing Zamer sphere of protection. Axon, still wounded, vowed to stop Hakan and Thok, and soon they departed for the 77 stairs.
All right, so we're just going to start zooming through this real quick. So the Toa depart for the Green Belt. Hakan and Thok fight each other because they're Paraka, and they expose the entrance to the stairs. Thok and Hakan defeat the Paraka, but fail to defeat the Toa. They restore Brutaka's powers. Then Axon offers Brutaka a second chance, and then Zaktan wakes up. The Paraka descends 77 stairs before the Toa and Nika, who were knocked unconscious, also go down the stairs after them. So they go through a whole bunch of things. They go through, like, the Zone of Nightmares and everything. We're not going to get into this too much, except for during the Chamber of Death, the Toa are forced to make a sacrifice from their team. Mitoro volunteers, and later on they find out it's just an illusion. Mitoro's still alive. It's okay. But then they enter the Mask of Life, the Chamber of Life, where they find the Mask of Life is fused to Vizon's head because of the Mask of Fusion and the Staff of Fusion and everything. The Paraka enter first. The Paraka enter. Vizok and Radak are fused. They defeat the other Paraka. Vizon then separates them. The Toa and Nika enter the chamber. They fight the Kardas Dragon, who's like the coolest combiner set ever made. During the fight, Jalar realizes the Ignika is sentient. Kongu reads its thoughts, finds out the Ignika really wants Mitoro to be its bearer, not Vizon. So Vizon's hit with the Zamer sphere that Axon gives the Toa and Nika earlier. Time stops. They manage to get the mask off of him. But then the mask just flies up the stairs. It just zooms away. And then they just run after the mask, but then the mask goes deep into the Black Waters. Meanwhile, Brutaka gets defeated by Axon finally, and Brutaka is teleported away by Botar, another member of the Order of Matanui. Axon's a member of the Order of Matanui, and at this point we find out Brutaka was also an Order of the Matanui, a member of the Order of Matanui, but then he betrayed them because Matanui went to sleep and he became disillusioned with the cause.
Meanwhile, the Toa Nuva, freed by the Matoran, were informed by Botar that their destiny was to retrieve the Scroll of Preparations, a scroll that would awaken Matanui.
So, question 2. Who's good guy? This guy's actually canon. What's, you know?
So I'm pretty sure he was a McDonald's toy. I don't know if that's in that video.
He wasn't a McDonald's toy. No, I'm talking about in lore. He has a lore. He has a lore rule. This is real. Greg Farsty did this. Okay, who's next? Anyone have any idea?
I'm going to go with Jimmy.
No.
Nope.
Okay. Okay. So nobody knows, I guess. Okay, you. No, okay.
We can give it.
So since nobody knows, you guessed first, and since nobody really got close at all. So Good Guy was actually a puppet that was used by the Matoran to tell stories. This is canon. He was later canonized during one of Greg Farsh's millions of like Beasley, like Lego Forum, like AMAs. So you can come up here and pick your prize. You take 1 M point and one of those boys.
Yeah, sorry.
It is a classic. It's a Stars version, just FYI. Sorry about that. Okay, we're not going to get into the Paraka rap, but needless to say, it's beautiful. So, we're gonna zoom through this. So the thing that fell off of Voyanui during the Great Cataclysm, that's Mare Nui. There's some Matoran living on there. They're living in like this bubble of air. It's connected to Voyanui due to a tube of tunnels called the cord. In fact, the cord is the only thing holding Voyanui up, and without it, the Voyanui would sink down back into the southern continent where it was launched off of originally. It's really weird. This whole thing, it was like 3 layers this time. It's like Voyanui, Mare Nui, southern continent. It's really odd. Anyway, so near Mare Nui stands the Pit, which is a prison used by the Order of Matanui to imprison the most irredeemable and evil of enemies. However, during the Great Cataclysm, the Pit was destroyed and sent into the Black Waters, and all the denizens of the Pit were either killed or mutated. Importantly, the denizens of the Pit include the Bohrok, who are 6 vicious warlords who once took over almost the entire Matoran universe before Makuta, back when he was still working with back when he was still working with Matanui and hadn't betrayed him yet. He stopped them. Anyway, so we get the Bohrok. There's Takedox. He's the hypnosis guy. He betrays the Bohrok later on. He's a dick. Karopar is just really, really strong. Mantax is paralyzing venom. Elec has electric powers. Nocturne's not a Bohrok, but like he works with them. He's like an honorary Bohrok. Prydak is the leader of the Bohrok. And then Kalma has the ability to share his memory with squids, which is really weird. Yeah. Anyway, the Ignika falls into the sea, into the hands of one of the Matoran living in Mare Nui. It's Dekar. Yeah, okay. So Dekar finds the mask. However, the squid spies it, shares his memory with the Bohrok, and then the Bohrok go and they find Dekar and they attack him. Toa Lesovic is attacked by Kurzani. Toa Lesovic's a Toa in the... We're just going to skip Toa Lesovic. He's not important. Anyway, so fearing Elec would destroy the Ignika, Takedox hypnotized Karopar into attacking Elec. Dekar realized that the Mask of Life was healing the eels that were attacking Mare Nui, so Dekar runs away from Mare Nui to destroy the Mask of Life. Before Dekar can destroy it, Kalma finds Dekar, and the mask grew an eel 300 feet and knocked them both out. The Paraka then met Brutaka, who then attacked Dekar. Dekar drops the mask into the black water, where it explodes into light, transforming Dekar into a new incarnation of Hydraxon, the former jailer of the Pit. All right, that's a great video. Watch it on your own. Okay, anyway, so the Toamari, they get mutated by the Ignika. Mitoro has the Mask of Reanimation. That's the only one that really matters here. In the Pit, there's Maxilox. He's one of the guard robots. He's actually now being controlled by Makuta in disguise, and then Hydraxon, the new jailer, and formerly Dekar. So the Toa arrive at Mare Nui. The Mare Nui Matoran don't trust them. Then the Mare Nui Matoran think that they're Bohrok because they trick the Bohrok into thinking that they're also from the Pit. So then the Toa just run away. And Mitoro, Hydraxon captures Mitoro. And then the Maxilox robot frees Mitoro, who's controlled by Makuta, and then Makuta basically just drags Mitoro along while they both try to find the Mask of Life. The Bohrok get the mask and try to bring it to Nocturne to figure out how to use it. Nocturne figures out that Ignika just cursed him into killing anything he touches. So yeah, they go off. They go on their own journeys. Makuta and Maxilox are going on their journey. Mitoro and Maxilox go on their own journey. Mitoro really does not like Maxilox, which is understandable. Anyway, Holly and Mantax team up for a point. It's pretty wild. We're just going to skip through this until the Mare regroup. So the Mare end up finding each other. While Mitoro and Makuta travel, they find Tuyet from Toa Lacan's team, or Dead Body. And then Tuyet gives Maxilox the, I forget what it's called, the Nui Stone? Yeah, the Nui Stone, which is allows you to supercharge Toa. Anyway, they regroup at Mare Nui. And then Mitoro finds out that they have to destroy the cord. So while this is happening, the Toa Nuva go on a quest. They free the...
They basically free the Rahaga and then fight some of the Dark Hunters.
Free the Bohrok, cure the Rahaga, and yeah, they do the whole thing. And then they find out the Staff of Artaka is missing because Isarax took it. So we're going to skip Karzani. Isarax gives the staff to Makuta. Butaka attacks Makuta. Mitoro runs away. Meets up with the rest of the Toamari. And then they destroy the cord. They get the mask from Hydraxon. Right before Hydraxon destroys it, because Hydraxon wants to destroy it because he's still got a little bit of Dekar on him. Anyway, the point is, they get the mask from Maxilos. They destroy the Maxilos robot. Makuta just kind of disappears. And then the Bohrok find the Toa and attack them. They destroy the cord, and then the Mask of Life just goes shooting off as the Voyanui sinks down back to the southern continent. The Mask of Life just shoots off after it. So the Bohrok attack the Toa Marai, so the Toa Marai defend Matoro, while Matoro just swims after the Mask of Life. And then Matoro finds out the Mask of Life is now completely black, and the Great Spirit is dead. They failed. But while Jalar prepares to go Nova and kill everybody, Matoro puts on the Mask of Life. And during this time, he teleports the Toa Marai back to Metro Nui to save them before he completely loses himself to the Mask of Life. He regenerates Matanui and brings him back to life, but in the process, Matoro dies. Pour one out. So, yeah, you go back there, and then the Toa Nuva go to Artaka to finish their quest. This is the next question. Who can translate this? Yes,
yeah,
correct. Indeed, it was the Paraka rat. So come up here, get a mask. We're just going to continue while you're doing this. Just take a mask and an endpoint. Okay, Cardanui. Yeah, we're just going to have to go. We're just going to have to blast through for Cardanui. We're not going to get to Barra Magna. Okay, so they find out Makuta is actually a whole race of beings. The Makuta we knew was actually Pterodax the whole time. Mysorex is missing. He was the former Makuta. And a whole bunch of Makuta are in Cardanui right now to stop the Toa Nuva. The Toa Nuva get there with their adaptive armor where they learn to fly. Hey, sir, you can get an endpoint. Friend, you get an endpoint.
It's like $1. You can spend it in the dealer's hall.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a cool collection.
Anyway, so Cardanui is the core of the universe, home of the Avmatoran, the Matoran of light. So the Avmatoran are being attacked and turned into Shadow Matoran by the Makuta. Tanma, Photok, and Solak escape. And then the Toa Nuva are teleported there by Artaka, where their adaptive armor gives them jets and wings. So 3 of them go and defend the Matoran in the sky, while the other 3 go into the swamp to try to find the Kodrax, which is said to be the core of the universe. Meanwhile, on Metro Nui, Takanuva gets corrupted and turns evil and finds the Order of Matanui and everything. On Cardanui, they find out Takua is actually an Avmatoran. That's why he's the Toa of Light. That's also why he looks really weird. Like why he's got like the blue mask and the yellow feet. Like it's because he was bad at painting himself. Anyway, they figure out that they need the Keystone, a 6-piece artifact, in order to open up the Kodrax and awaken Matanui. Also, the Mask of Life, after it was used by Matoro and fell down in the swamp, it wants to be a hero too, like Matoro, so it makes itself a body and becomes Toa Ignika. The Toa fight the Makuta. There's a lot of fighting. They get the stuff. They get the pieces of the Keystone. Also, they meet up with Toa Ignika, who they find out is actually a good guy and is also wearing the Mask of Life, so they decide to team up with him. Meanwhile, in the swamp, the Toa learned that the Avmatoran actually turned into Bohrok. And actually, like, that's why they were supposed to free the Bohrok in the first place, is because the Bohrok were actually their brothers, because they're also Avmatoran. And the Toa Mata came from Cardanui originally. So that's why they were brothers, if you remember way earlier on. Anyway, they fight the Makuta, they assemble the Keystone. Krek, in the meantime, is being weird and telling Tahu that, like, both sides are gonna lose in the end, basically. He's telling him through, like, metaphor and stuff. So the 7 Toa race to the Kodrax, while the Makuta race to the Kodrax to stop the Toa. Meanwhile, during a journey far away, Mysorex is released, and then Brutagas is murmuring about Spherus Magna. The shattering and the wrongs have to be repaired. We're not going to get into that, because we're not going to have time. So they fight the Makuta, they beat the Makuta, and they enter the Kodrax, with one of the Makuta sneaking up after them. They find these really powerful vehicles, but one of the Makuta steals them. They go do that. Meanwhile, Gali is trying to tell Toa Ignika, you have to sacrifice yourself. That's what being a hero is all about. That's what Matoro did for you, so you should do it for Matanui. Toa Ignika sacrifices himself, reawakens Matanui, and creates a massive energy storm. This kills all of the Makuta, and the Makuta are like, wait, what? Pterodax betrayed us? Who would have thought? Meanwhile, the Toa are back in the Colosseum, getting ready to celebrate and be winners, but actually. So, the big plot twist. We're not going to have time to show this video, but basically, you see Matanui? That's the one at the very top. The Matoran universe looks like a body. That's because it is. Matanui was actually a giant robot the whole time. Metronui was inside of Matanui's brain. And Matanui was the face. The Bohrok cleared the face because they were supposed to clear off all of the garbage and everything to make it so that the robot wouldn't be damaged when it emerged. The whole time. But Pterodax took over the body at the last minute. And then launches Matanui inside of the Ignika into space where he'll never be seen again. Only it's a moon. But first, who was the first Matoran? Yes.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Anyway, just to really quickly try to cover everything. Yeah, we have 2 minutes. My phone says 2 minutes, so it's fine. Okay. Anyway, the mask gets launched, but it turns out the Matoran universe is actually a moon known as Baramagna, and not actually a planet. So, it lands on the moon, on the actual planet, which is Baramagna, where long ago the great beings created an original Great Spirit robot that broke. And then the planet exploded, and then it turned into a desert planet, a water moon, and a plant moon. So, the great beings also made a second spirit robot on Baramagna before it exploded. They put a contingency plan known as the Toa Mata in place in case something went wrong. So that's where the Toa Mata came from. That's why they were never Matoran. So the great spirit robot, the second one, escapes from the planet before it explodes. It goes around, then it crash lands. Meanwhile, on Baramagna, everything is terrible. Then, the Ignika crash lands on Baramagna, and Matanui makes himself a body. He fights Tumo, wins the trust of everybody. He reassembles the original Great Spirit robot. He goes through the maze, which was the workshop of the great beings originally, and finds a power source that can be used to power the original Great Spirit robot. He powers the robot. Meanwhile, inside of the Makuta-verse, everything is terrible. Matanui tries to reassemble Baramagna back into Spherus Magna, but Makuta notices, Matanui's not dead, that's weird, I thought this was the only place, I thought there was nothing else. So he lodges himself into space to go to Baramagna to beat the crap out of his brother. So he goes there and he beats the crap out of his brother. However, what Makuta doesn't realize is, look right behind his head, there's a little bit of a moon coming in close. Yeah, Matanui just freaking slams his head into Aqua Magna, destroying the processing unit and killing Makuta instantly. Tahu also does a thing where he saves everybody on the ground. And so, using the last of the Great Spirit robot's power, Tahu reassembles the planet of Spherus Magna. The Matoran and the Agori learn to work together and learn to live in this newfound world that they now both inhabit. There's some lore that happens after this, but it's like unfinished, so we're not going to get into it at all. But basically, everyone is happy. The end.
Wait, we got one more question.
One more question! Which character in this very PowerPoint was actually a great being in disguise, who I think I skipped over? I think you raised your hand first, because you just saw this.
Yeah.
You. Yes, you did it.
Yeah.
Good job. You have the pick of that mask. Congratulations. Oh, the endpoint. Take your endpoint.
Worth $1.
All right.
It's a fun souvenir.
So, this is a cursed image. Anyway, that's thanks for coming in Matoran. So thank you all for coming to this PowerPoint.